I think you add character when you travel, because there's so much that you don't know, but you don't realize it till you find out that you don't know this.
Right.
And it's one thing that I really appreciated having a black president, because when I would travel abroad, I'd get Tupac, or I'd get, even if they were being cool, you know, whatever American they can associate you with was Will Smith.
Right.
Funny thing, when I was in Russia, every time I went somewhere, people would say Wesley Snipes. And I was like, are you crazy? Like.
Hey, it's a great day to change lives, man. We are back with another episode of the Instincts PONDCast. And when I tell you, I have somebody with more stamps in his passport, he said it's probably safer to tell you where he has not been than to tell you where he's been, man. We want to show everybody how to go global and international. I got Theta Salazar in the building. You got so many titles, man. Give me three of them. Give me three of your nicknames.
Attorney, activist, and poet.
Love it. I love. Hey, man. Can you give us a freestyle in?
Sure.
You got one on your mind? At the end.
See, we have to stay focused. They're nothing but demons with hocus pocus. They got the mark of beast and a needle. They'll try to poke us. A plague on the house. They'll take the firstborn and bring locusts. And they're trying to break the concentration. Trust me, just stay focused.
Okay, that's an early introduction. And guess what? We're going to do an outtake because I got on the wrong shoes. Okay, so we're going to... So what we're going to do is come back, because I got on my work shoes. We can't have me up here looking like dirty cotton swabs. We're going to do that flow again at the end. Right? We back. Clean kicks. All right, no work shoes. Quanta, you recording? You good? I got you. No work shoes, no bloopers. Okay, so what we do is we start the Instincts PONDCast with a very, very important question. What is the most challenging thing in life you've ever had to overcome, and how did you overcome it? Let's go with the first part.
Well, I think I'd say, as an attorney, one of the things for me that's really challenging is that I have other people that depend upon me.
Okay.
And so when they have an issue or when they're really seeking justice, it really becomes something that's more important than myself. So I had a situation where I knew there was a case that needed to be pursued. It was not in the United States, but for whatever reason, because it involved going against a government, no attorneys wanted to touch it.
Okay.
But I knew that an injustice would occur that would be something to be, you know, almost the harm would be way greater than anything that could happen to yourself. So
okay.
I had to go over to this country.
What country?
Istanbul.
Istanbul. Now, for those like myself who don't know, what's nearby?
Istanbul actually is one of the only places where you can see Europe and Asia at the same time.
Gotcha.
And also, the Bible was assembled at the Council of Nicaea, which is now known as Iznik, but that's also right outside of Turkey. So that's very important. It used to be Constantinople.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
so
gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Emperor Constantine and all that. So there's a lot of Istanbul is the start of Christianity. If you look at the Battle of 1453, you know, where that was one of the first holy wars. And because Islam defeated Christianity, that's why you have all of North Africa and all of that region that is now Islamic. But in any event, I had to go there because it involved a government entity, find an attorney that was willing to go against that government, and then locate a witness that ended up being in Russia. So there was so much that could have happened that could have made me give up.
Wow.
But I didn't, and that was something that I always look back and I'm like, if I can accomplish that, then when something else comes up, I look at it as like,
you can do anything.
Exactly.
So wait, talk to me, man. The witness was in Russia. What was the crime being committed? And how do you go from being an attorney here in the States? I'm sure you didn't start off international.
No.
Right? How'd you go from being an attorney here in the States to get an international lawsuit against another government? That's a loaded question. Let's start with the first one.
And from basically what I can specify about the actual facts of the matter, I mean, it's been in the media.
Okay.
I mean, this was a particular case that was a nightclub shooting.
In Istanbul?
In Istanbul,
okay.
on New Year's Eve. This was 2018, I believe. So, you know, the facts of the matter can be just regularly Googled per se.
Right.
But I just had to find a firm in that country to go after that case.
Because it was a U.S. citizen?
No, it was not. Our client actually was a Jordanian individual.
Okay, so, talk to me like I'm in the first grade. The shooting happens in Istanbul.
Correct.
And my brother, Theda Salazar, gets the call because they chose a U.S. attorney?
Yes, because actually the cousin of the decedent we already worked together on other matters.
Gotcha. Okay, so they wanted y'all to represent.
Well, they needed someone in Istanbul. They didn't want us necessarily to represent them.
Okay.
When it came to me, because he asked me, hey, do you know any attorneys in Istanbul? And I'm like, well, actually, I do have some contacts and communications over there because I'd been to Istanbul at least 3 times before that occurred.
Okay,
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, got you. Man, that's crazy, James.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's ramp our way up. So the answer to the second question is, how did you overcome it? You overcame it by did you find a witness in Russia?
Well, they did. But I was I was fortunate and blessed to be able to go over there and have the opportunity to see Russia and participate in that process.
Got you.
And that comes into play just because it's like having watched everything that's going on with Ukraine and seeing everything that's taking place over there, but then knowing, okay, I've been to Russia, I know their mentality. I've been to the Supreme Court of Russia in Moscow. And for me, that's one of the little things that I do. When I go to different countries, I go to their Supreme Court because you get to learn a lot about a country when you learn about their version of justice.
Got you.
And so from there, you can figure out pretty much what else is going on with the lay of their land.
So, James, let me ask you this, man. We got so much to talk about. Roughly, how many countries have you been to?
Now, keep in mind, I was the lion in the Hip Hop Wizard of Oz for 5 years before I was an attorney. So I performed on 4 continents, just doing music and other stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yes, man.
You the lion in the Hip Hop Wizard of Oz. We got to go back. So we can talk about politics, community activism,
Yes.
law, and acting.
Yes.
And hip hop and poetry.
Yes, and so I was an intelligence specialist in the Navy. So I was between my military and my governance and my performing, I've been around the world 3 times. That's what I tell people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been to at least all 7 continents?
No,
Which one
I have not been to Australia, and I've not been to Antarctica.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much Australia.
Last 2. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's walk it from the beginning. No, let's stay here for a minute. Talk to everybody in the U.S. right now who has not been abroad. Talk to the children about how much education you've gotten just by seeing the world. Let's inspire some people to get the passport and go overseas, man. It's a big world, and they don't see it.
I think you add character when you travel because there's so much that you don't know, but you don't realize it till you find out that you don't know this.
Right.
And it's one thing that I really appreciated having a black president, because when I would travel abroad, I'd get Tupac, or I'd get, even if they were being cool, whatever American they can associate you with was Will Smith.
Right.
Funny thing, when I was in Russia, every time I went somewhere, people would say Wesley Snipes, and I was like, "Are you crazy? Like, no, seriously."
You mean they thought it was you?
Dude, no, I don't even know. So I was out one evening, right? But it happened on numerous occasions at different locations. So I'm walking up the stairs, and there's security there, and so they're cool, cordial. But then when I walk off, they say something in Russian, and he Wesley Snipes, and I'm like, so I asked my man, I was like, "Dude, why does he?" He's like, "Nah, it's not like that. They know that you're not." It was like, they just equate, whatever American. And he said over there, we see a lot of Wesley Snipes stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
So I was like, all right, but anybody else?
So you were equating that, you made a parallel to Obama when he was in office. What happened?
Well, when he was in office, when you would, now that you travel abroad, people have seen us at higher levels.
Gotcha.
Other than just in a rap video and either on a movie screen.
Gotcha.
They've seen us commanding the free world. So you get another level of respect in these other countries before that hadn't seen any of that, because some of these people never go to America. You might be the 4th or 5th American they've met, and you might be the first person of color from America that they've met.
Gotcha.
So they're looking at you, basically with whatever preconceived notion they might have, which would have been whatever they've seen on TV or read in a magazine or whatnot.
And people, I'm so proud of you, man. People like yourself get to change that imagery that they have of us overseas when they see a smart, intelligent brother come in and taking care of business.
You know, and it's also important too. I tell a lot of people, especially if they have downtime, you could go teach English for 3 months in a country. You could go teach English for 6 months in a country. If you really wanted to, if you wanted to see that part of the world, they have those opportunities that are out there.
Yeah.
You know, and you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about your ability to adapt to new environments and new situations and help people sometimes, even though there may be, you know, you'll be able to communicate with them, but there may be some sort of language barrier. How do you overcome that?
Absolutely. Do you speak any other languages? Did you learn anything?
You know,
maybe not fluid, but like
not fluent,
are you
but
pretty decent in
I'm decent in my Spanish and Portuguese.
Portuguese and Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my wife is Salvadoreña, so you know she tries to have like an hour a day where she only wants to speak Spanish, and you know, and sometimes I can go with it, but as far as if it's something that I really need to get out, I'm like, all right, babe, I got a break. Look, this is what happened. Blah 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 blah.
But that's great. It's something that's underappreciated, and 2 languages, man. I keep saying I'm gonna do it one day, but I need to go in and jump in with both feet.
But you know what?
That's important.
It is, because nothing endears you to another person than trying to communicate with them on their level, in their language, in their linguistics.
Right.
I mean, that shows that you're trying more than anything, other than just, you know, like if you ever go to France, even if they speak English, they will, for whatever reason, they will act like they don't.
Right.
Okay.
Right. They stand true to the native tongue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Funny thing, one time I was in a grocery store in Brazil, and the cashier, she got upset with me, and I didn't understand why. And so there was this Caucasian gentleman behind me. I don't know if he was American. He might have been whatever. But anyway, I just asked him. I said, "Hey man, she understood me. What's the problem?" He said, "Yeah, man, you were mixing Portuguese and Spanish. They don't like that."
Oh, you were trying to do a little bit of both.
But I was still speaking, you know, and she still understood me. And he's like, "Yeah, she got mad."
They want you to stay true to it.
I guess so. So I never did that again.
Yeah. No, you learn. Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning, man. I know you from high school.
Right.
Right. I've had the honor and pleasure of meeting you in high school. At the times, you were James Lattimore.
I was.
Now you are Theta Salazar. What happened? What took place? What does your name represent, and why'd you change?
Well, my first name is Hebrew, and it means knowledge or to know. I converted to Judaism in 2000, actually, right before the towers fell.
Really?
And so I was actually, it was a symbolism of my regrowth or rebirth, in a sense, my change of thought, my change of habit and process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Theta Salazar means what again?
My first name, Theta, is knowledge or to know.
Okay.
And the individuals that assisted me with Torah and my studying portions and my basically, they were Salazar.
Salazar. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So let me ask you this. Did you run into any backlash from our brothers and sisters? And, you know, you grew up probably Baptist or Christian or whatever you grew up representing. Right. Did you get any backlash?
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. I actually went to Old National Christian Academy.
Okay.
And my mother, I believe, in her infinite wisdom, she put me in a Christian academy first, and then she put me in a Jewish school. Okay. And basically, after that, then she put me in Westwood in 8th grade,
of course.
which became Westlake. And then she was like, choose. And so, to me, all a religion is a way you communicate with God. Just like some people speak French, some people speak Spanish, some people speak Portuguese, some people are Catholic, some people are Islam, some people are Christian, some people are Jewish, some people or whatever. And so for me, it was a way that I was able to communicate with God and speak with God and hear God speak back.
Gotcha.
And that's what...
You heard his voice. That resonated most with you. You heard his voice.
Absolutely. But to answer your question, yes, I did receive some, people, I think, they, of course, rightfully, in their own sense, question what they don't understand. Mm-hmm. And some people might fear what they don't know. Of course, I ran for House of Representatives. So when I did so, I ran for 44th District, Smyrna, Vinings, Mableton, Northwest, and Southwest Atlanta.
Wow.
So when I ran for office, that was one of the things that came up. Now, also, to mind you, I had a top secret clearance because I was an intelligence specialist with the Navy. So you're trying to get dirt on me or find out something on me, and I've got a clearance that's going to make that very difficult for you because, number one, there is no dirt. But number two,
let's start there.
No, but number two, you're going to have to get clearance to see any of my records. So they, so that was the only thing. People was like, oh, so tell us about your name, blah, 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 blah. So I got that question a lot.
And had to deal with that.
Of course.
Yeah. And man, poet, activist, you ran for House of Representatives. When you were coming up, what did you want to be? What were you saying you wanted to be?
Man.
Did you let anybody label you or ask you when you got asked that question like we all do? And I don't always think it's a good question.
It's funny.
What'd you think?
As a joke to some people, I always say I wanted to be a space monkey. Because I wanted to be an astronaut.
A space monkey.
I really did. And I just really didn't know. I just thought that would be something cool. I was like, oh, you get to fly. But no, you not only get to fly, you get to go up into space if you want to, right? So, yeah, aeronautical, all that stuff. I thought I'd be doing something exciting like that. I also had it in my mind that I was going to be center field for the Braves for quite some time, too. So that was one of my thought processes as a child. And then it's funny, I remember one day, actually, I used to go to the library and I would watch people. And I would say, oh, okay, this person has a stethoscope around their neck. They're either a doctor or in a medical capacity. Oh, this person right here, they look like a teacher. Oh, this person has on a hard hat. They look like they're in construction. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I said, I wonder what I'll be when I grow up. And as plain as I hear your voice, I heard it in my head, I'd be an attorney.
Wow.
So I didn't know what that was. I went home, I said, hey, Mom, what's an attorney? And she explained it to me. I said, oh, you mean like a lawyer?
Right.
And she said, yes, kind of so. And she said, also other countries refer to them as barrister. But yes, that's along the line. So then she said, if that's what you heard, then that's what we'll make happen. That's and my mother said it on that. From that day, everything that she did was pushing me in that path.
Yeah. So, well, man, you are proof. You are proof, man, that people need to dream big and that anything is possible. I've been watching you. I've been following your career. I've been checking you out. I've seen you with every celebrity. Just name some of the people, man, I've seen you in pictures with. And give me at least how two of them happened. The last one I saw, I ain't gonna ruin it. Go ahead, you tell me.
Let's see. Well, I've been fortunate enough to work on some projects. I've produced a project. I was on the National Legislative Committee for the Screen Actors Guild. I was AFL-CIO delegate for SAG-AFTRA, and I was on the National Television Nominating Committee for SAG-AFTRA. So I also was strategist board at arms for the original meetings with SAG, and I ran for board of directors of SAG. I was not elected, but that's okay. As long as the work of the guild and the governance goes forward, onwards and upwards.
SAG is Screen Actors Guild.
SAG is Screen Actors Guild now, and we've partnered with AFTRA, which is the American Federation of Television and Radio, the American Television and Film Radio Association.
And some of the people that we may know that you've done business with in Hollywood, who?
Oh, Michael T. Williamson. We call, of course, T. Brother Keith David. Great brother, Ernie Hudson. You remember Kenny Lofton?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kenny Lofton was my producing partner. Kenny Lofton played for the Braves, the Indians, Yankees, and Dodgers. We won't hold that against him. Just kidding. But no, Kenny actually.
Hall of Fame.
And it's a real great story about Kenny and I, because Kenny's one of my frat brothers. And when I was in law school, I would actually go by his office because I found out where his office was.
Okay.
And I'd be like, man, one day we're going to work together. One day we're going to work together. One day we're going to work together. Hadn't even graduated law school, right? So graduated. And of course he had an attorney, and Kenny's produced 4 films.
Really?
Kenny has produced 4 films.
I didn't even know he was. I saw you in a picture with Kenny, and I didn't know that's what y'all were doing.
Yeah. So Kenny actually, one day he had something that one of the attorneys didn't necessarily do to his liking, and he asked me if I could look at it, and I said, yeah, man, give me 48 hours. And then, we've been together since. So,
wow.
Great brother. We've also worked with Flex Alexander, Buddy Lewis. I work closely with Special Ed, the rapper.
Yeah.
So work very closely with Ed and represent him on some of his projects. We've been able to make a good impact. Shout out to Ray Stoney.
Westlake.
Westlake.
I'm gonna get Ray out here too.
Of course.
I see him in every commercial.
Yeah,
I'm like, my man.
Yeah. So and that's a good thing too. It's opportunity out there in front of the screen and behind the screen, and all you have to do is believe in yourself a little bit, because if you show up, let God show out. You know, God helps a child that helps himself. So if you put yourself in certain environments, in certain situations, you know, and if you continuously put yourself in good situations, good things will happen. Because people, especially in the film industry, I mean, if you're working 12-hour days, 14-hour days, you want to be around people that are, you know, that aren't going to get on your nerves. Y'all know that.
That's right. That's right. No. Yeah, the law of association is real. Let's take it from the top real quick, Theta. So, coming out of high school, what college did you go to? Did you go to the Navy first? I want to walk through your career, because I got to get to this Wizard of Oz thing too.
Okay, sure.
And your activism. Coming out of high school, you left Westlake, graduated from Westlake, ended up doing what, then what? First two steps.
University of Georgia. Shout out to that national championship.
Yes,
Go
sir.
Dogs, sick 'em, woof woof. Yes, political science degree.
Okay.
So from there, and what a lot of people don't know, I attended 4 different law schools.
Did you really?
Yes, I attended 4 different law schools, and that was adversity in and of itself, you know. And it's funny too, because when you ask me, one of the most difficult situations that I personally experienced, it was navigating through law school, I'd say.
Really?
And then when. So my first law school was University of Louisville in Kentucky.
Okay.
And then I transferred to John Marshall here in Atlanta, where my sister also graduated from John Marshall.
Okay.
Shout out to my sister Camille. What up, counsel?
Yeah.
So
y'all work together on some stuff?
we have worked together on a couple cases,
Okay,
actually. She's actually in New York now, working on a judge's campaign. So there's a judge running in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And so she's up there. She actually wanted to leave her position with her company and work with, but they made her, they was like, hey, work part-time. We got an office in New York, because she was here in Atlanta.
Got you.
So yeah, so she went up there, she's working on that campaign, and she'll probably return, you know, unless, you know, New York can put its hooks in you. It's a good city, you know, and if you're, you know, and she agrees with my sister. She's done some time in New York and up there in Philadelphia and in that northeast corner.
Okay.
So yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. So John Marshall.
Yeah.
And then how do we get to the other 2 schools?
So from John Marshall, went to Concord, transferred to Concord in California, actually. Now keep in mind, so I was in the Navy. I joined the Navy 2002. So, and my separation date was 2012. So if I'm still under obligation to the military, they have influence on where I get to go.
Okay.
Especially if I want my GI Bill and those things that, you know. So it was it was kind of political at times when it shouldn't have been, because it was my career, my education, and I should have, you know, been able to do what I want to do and where I want to go.
Absolutely.
I just at that point in time, you don't know what you don't know, and I was just a young man just trying to make the best way I could through life. So I transferred from Concord to Abraham Lincoln, where I graduated. Now, I only transferred there because I was paying for my own schooling at that point in time, and I saved 10 grand by going from Concord to Abraham Lincoln.
Got you.
And so to me, that was, you know, that was incentive. All right.
So 4 different schools, but this sounds crazy, but remember, I wanted to go to law school, but I wasn't as smart as you. So this one sounds crazy. 4 different schools, but so is that 1 degree? Across, or
it's 1 degree.
You got
my degree is Abraham Lincoln University School of Law.
Okay.
Yeah, and
what was your did you have a specialty?
You don't know.
Do law degrees have a specialty?
No. So the only law degree that has a specialty would be tax. If you want to be a tax attorney, you have to go to additional schooling. But no, you pass the bar, and then you're licensed in the bar of that state.
Gotcha.
Should you want to practice in other locations, you have to petition to their highest court for what's called pro hoc vice.
Okay.
So like I'm in a case in Dallas, Texas right now.
Okay.
And it's a civil rights case, if you will.
Okay.
And it's a pro hoc vice matter that, you know, I petition to the court, and you associate with local counsel. So you have a local attorney there. What if the judge wants to see you at 3 o'clock on Tuesday? Okay, can you get on a plane? If not, you got to have local counsel that's there on the ground to back you up.
Gotcha.
And so that's one of the things that's important now. There's I'm working with a family, the Moore family now, the Ferguson shooting, December 12th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
we got to get into your civil stuff.
Yeah, so we're working with that family now. And the NAACP called me about that case, which was cool, because the president of the NAACP in California had been in touch with the family and was like, well, hey, because they didn't want a local attorney, because sometimes local attorneys, you know, I don't know, that sometimes the politics get kind of, and sometimes it's good to have, you know, in some situations that you have a, you know.
Outside.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, all right. So we get our degree. We don't just jump into international, I'm assuming. What'd you start with? Did you ever start with personal injury or anything?
You know, it's funny because I really didn't know what I wanted to do as an attorney. It's funny. People would always say, oh, you're acting, you're doing this, you're going to be in entertainment law. And I would say, well, entertainment law is such a saturated market, especially here in California. There's so many entertainment attorneys.
Right.
How can you really make a difference? But I really enjoy that aspect, and I kind of didn't run away from it. I did it first, but so many of my people like, hey, I got a meeting with ABC. Can you come? Or, hey, I got this contract here. Somebody just, can you look at that? Hey,
business like you.
Yeah, no, I just got this grant to do this documentary so could you do a contract so we can make sure? So it would happen. The song Paul Masson, Wiz Khalifa, I did a contract for that song, if you know that one.
Okay.
Shout out to Supreme. He's a producer that put me onto that project. So, you know, music and film are totally different aspects, you know, because they have different, you know, music usually have your publishing and your performance organizations like ASCAP, CSAC, or BMI, which are supposed to track some of that stuff for you. A lot of your times your film contracts can be a lot easier because you're governed by the Guild. You're governed by SAG-AFTRA. So if you're a day player, you're getting your day player rate. Now, if it's a movie itself...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead. If it's a movie?
Yeah, if it's a movie itself, the most important thing in...
Hold on, Jay. Move for real. Okay. All right, cut. Hold up.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. SAG, and if it's a movie deal?
Yeah, so if it's a movie itself, the most complicated part about that, I would say, I mean, of course you're going to have to do the contracts for everybody from, you know, whoever's doing the music, make sure any music used in it is you know, free and clear.
Okay.
Any of your locations that you're using, make sure that there's no issue. But more than anything, it's your chain of title. Because you're not going to be able to sell a film if somebody thinks that the title to the film has been compromised, or there's somebody that could come out and put a lien against the film.
Like a house.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, so that's one of the things is making sure that your chain of title is right, because then no matter how good the movie is, once you get the movie done, nobody's going to want to buy it.
Okay, so let's inspire some people.
Okay.
What was your first big breakthrough? Not money, but just I want to show people that you can start something that's an idea. And then ultimately, Brian, I knew I was on my way when what happened? Was it a case? Was it a?
Yeah, I would have to say so. You know, that's a great question. I think. So I'll tell you, I was and this is just for me. I actually went to Los Angeles because I actually got offered a job by the Chief Justice, working with the Judicial Council. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I had an offer to go work in Jordan, training the Jordanian army on basic intelligence. It was an 18-month gig. No, seriously. So it was 18 months, 4 months. 8 weeks of teaching, 2 months, 2 weeks off. So it was between that, going over there, but that was only a 18-month gig. You know, so you got a year and a half. First $80,000 are tax-free, so it was a lot of incentives to do that. But then I'd be in Jordan. Did I want to do that? But I didn't have any other opportunities. Nothing else was going on. I'm sitting around like, okay, what's next? You know, what's next? So this opportunity came up in California. And, you know, I was really preying on the opportunity in Jordan. And I was like, you know, if nothing that comes up, I talked to my parents about it. Hey, look, I might go to Jordan. And this opportunity came up in California, and it seemed much better. And it was an opportunity with it was a position I didn't even know existed. Like, I'm like, they even do this? You know? Right. So I'm like, and so then I even said to myself, I said, there's going to be about 100 people more qualified than me. So I took, you know, the opportunity, applied. Ended up interviewing on 2 occasions and got it. And it was one of the best things that actually happened to me.
Okay.
Because it made me focus on the law, and they still allowed me to pursue my acting and my music endeavors. They really gave me that levity and flexibility to be me.
Right.
And that was very special for me.
Yeah.
So I have to look at that as a point in my life when I'm like, okay, I can really be creative and I can really be legal at the same time.
Gotcha.
So then that position ended up moving to Sacramento. So it was either if I wanted to go to Sacramento and work, or I'd have to step away.
Got you.
So that actually forced me to start my own firm.
Got you.
And I was scared as crap because I'm like, I'm not going to have a paycheck unless I pay myself. That was a big situation for me.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, that was a big situation for me. And I was forced into it, and I almost, and it's crazy because I just got married too. So how I look telling my wife, okay, I got to go work in San Francisco and Sacramento for, 4 days out of the week.
Got you.
And then
you're living in LA.
Right, living
south
in LA.
To north.
So I didn't think that was fair to her, and I definitely didn't want to do it either.
Right.
So I stuck out on my own, and I would have to say shout out to Ali Salimi, University of Georgia. Has his firm. We actually partner here. He's the partner of Atlanta Auto Accident Attorneys. Shout out to them.
Okay.
He actually taught me in 2014. He taught me how to litigate a case per se.
Gotcha.
How to prepare a case, process it, file lawsuits. Some of my same templates that I use from my original filings are still, from Ali, and that's the important thing. Every attorney coming out of law school, you almost have to partner with another attorney because law school teaches you the law. It does not teach you how to be a lawyer or an attorney.
There you go.
It just does not. So those are some things that, I owe Ali, each one teach one. So that's why now when other individuals, whether they're in high school, whether they're in college, I offer young men to come to court with me. If you want to see the court, if you want to see the court system, you're more than welcome to come with me. And I'd rather you come to court and see somebody coming in a criminal case and realize that that's not something you ever want to have happen to you. But you have to have somebody that guides you, that pulls you along, and that gives you a foundation, and sort of, you teach somebody to fish, or at least give them the food and open it up and say, hey, here, come back and let me know if you don't know how to use this or this or this.
Right. So you did criminal as well?
Yes, we do criminal.
Defense, obviously defense.
So my firm does criminal defense, personal injury, labor law, and entertainment law.
Got you. James, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Theta, let me ask you a question. How do attorneys defend somebody they know did it? I know you did.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying you, but how do attorneys, if I come to you and say, look, I need to be honest, I did it. How can you get me off? How do y'all do that?
So, number one, it's not about what somebody did or did not do. The Constitution of the United States says they have a vigorous defense, that they're entitled to a vigorous defense. Not just a defense, a vigorous defense. Okay. So I had a judge, and I was close with this judge. Actually, I've talked to two judges who used to be criminal defense attorneys. And one judge, I'm like, Your Honor, I heard you represented some guy that stabbed somebody like 30 times, right? Like, how'd you do that? Like
you asked him that
yes, I did.
A case for your client?
No, well, see, he wasn't. I know he. No, I just asked him because.
In general. Okay,
in general.
Okay,
I mean, I didn't have a case with him. He was just a judge.
Gotcha.
And I know him. I know his family. So I'm like, Your Honor.
How'd you do it?
Yeah, how did you represent that individual? I mean, after the third, they had to know the person. I mean, just have a person like that didn't sit uneasy with you. I asked those questions.
Right.
And so he told me the same thing. He said, the Constitution does give him, that's where I get that from. But
vigorous defense.
But what he did tell me too, he's like, I wasn't there necessarily to try to defend his innocence. I was there to defend him and escort him through the system because they knew what he had done, and I said, well, that was it. He said, well, there were some mitigating factors that were there too, which made me feel a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, I mean, they knew what he did and I wasn't there to defend him. I wasn't saying he didn't do it. I said, but you also have to remember, and this is what he told me. He said, besides that, you don't have to prove a man's innocence in a criminal defense trial or case. The prosecution has the burden of proving their guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
So even if you stand there and say nothing, if they've never met their burden of proof, you still don't have to say anything.
But is there a moral complex that says?
Yes. So there is a moral compass for me. I had the opportunity to represent someone that was accused of child molestation. I did not do that.
Yeah.
I just said, for me, I'm sorry, you may be innocent. I don't know any of the facts of the case. I just choose not to. And one of the reasons too, is my political background,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and when I run, you know, for you know, certain positions, your background comes up.
Yeah.
So one of the
You can't
things
be-
I want to be above and beyond reproach, you know, is with those individuals. You know, I will say I've represented individuals for domestic violence. I've represent males and females. I have on Monday, I'll be meeting with the city attorney investigator where I have a client who is a female who's accused of domestic violence. Each situation is its own. I've never represented anyone accused of rape. I do have multiple individuals that are accused of murder. You know, and it's something that is, I ask myself every time, you know, if it's a case, I look at each of the facts. Can I represent this person? Can I not? And I know that at the same point in time, you have a lot of mitigating factors in the defense, and you have to put up certain situations. But the only thing I would say, if there's a crime against an elderly person or a crime against a child or something to that, I can't bring it to myself to involve myself with that. So.
Gotcha. So real quick, before we transition and to your acting, and we're going to close out with the activism. Craziest case you've ever had?
Wow. Craziest case I've ever had.
When it hit you, you like, what? Like, and you took it. You went ahead and took this one.
Well, I'd say the craziest case I had is when Afeni Shakur, the late great Afeni, mother of Tupac, her estate, which had absorbed the Tupac Shakur estate, sued my client for some items that they believe had been wrongfully appropriated from Tupac. The crazy situation was that these items were actually licensed by the state for the what was that Tupac Resurrection, the MTV project.
Oh, the project.
That they did.
Yeah.
And they were given to Yasmin Fula. So I really didn't. I just thought it was crazy. You know, that was a crazy situation. I even, you know, because it would involve Tupac and the situation, and I thought that had Tupac and Afeni still been alive, it wouldn't have been any confusion.
Right. Gotcha.
You know.
Gotcha.
So. I also, I wouldn't say one of the most serious cases that we have, we represent 14 individuals from the San Bernardino 2000, December 2nd, 2015, the terrorist attack there that resulted in, you know, 14 people being killed. So
you're the defense attorney for the?
No, not.
I mean the family. I'm sorry. You represent the families who were
plaintiffs.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, the plaintiffs in that case.
So because that's the civil law aspect of personal injury, wrongful death.
Gotcha.
So we have a few cases involving the Joint Terrorism Task Force and a lot of federal issues such as that. So those are, you know, some of the cases that are, you know, most pressing because you have loss of life and you have to deal with the families and you have to explain to them and be compassionate and be comforting. And then you have your different levels of law enforcement that you have to deal with, all the way up to sometimes even the U.S. Attorney's Office in their involvement. So, but at the same point in time, you know, you get a sense in those cases because, you know, usually as an attorney, some people and they come to you either on the best day of your life or the worst day of your life, or when things are going either really well or
terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have to, you know, one of the things is that you have to be able to do is to not take a case and internalize the emotional stress and strain. And it's okay to do that, but you have to have a switch. So when the day is done, you have to turn that switch off.
Gotcha.
So that it doesn't weigh upon you. And then you have some of those clients that, because you feel so for them, you do internalize it because you know they're such the nicest person, and sometimes you have bad things that happen to good people, and you know it's something that I said to myself one day. I've become good at comforting people who have lost loved ones, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
You didn't like the dude becoming that person?
I didn't like it because I realized it was something that nobody should have to become good at. You know.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, because you know here
crazy.
it is. Yeah, but that means that people who should still be here were losing their lives, and that's what was you know. But that was something difficult for me. But you know, I like to think of myself as a blessing to people when I can be, and if they can find me, then you know, to whom much is given, much is required. So
there's a law student out there right now that's about to give up, or there's an attorney right now who feel like he can never open up his own firm. What do you say to those guys that's they want to give up on this thing?
Well, not even if they're a law school or an attorney. If it's someone that's even thinking about law school or thinking about furthering their education, take that first step. You have to keep one foot in front of the other. You can achieve what you have in your mind. It won't happen like you think it will, but it will happen. And you just have to plan your work and work your plan, and have to stay faithful and prayed on it. So if there is someone that's in law school, they would want to email me, salazarlawgroup@gmail.com. And if you do email me, I will email you back with a outline of every single subject from your law school. I also came up with something that helped me, that's being taught by one of the professors at the Fullerton College of Law. All I see cannot tolerate calling men divine ever. All I see, and the C is conspiracy, so it's just a C, it's not S-E-E.
Okay.
All I see cannot tolerate calling men divine ever. And in that, you have every California crime and California defense.
Oh, wow. In that acronym, in that phrase.
Absolutely.
Meaning each letter?
Yes. Yeah.
If you were to spell it out and the C is conspiracy.
Yeah.
Everything in California law is in that acronym.
Yeah, and so if there's a law student that's in law school, if you send me an email, I'll send you the outline that has all of your courses that you'll need. And this will help you prepare for the bar exam too.
Gotcha.
So I always tell people different states, so I went to, of course, 4 different law schools. Kentucky, which is University of Louisville, my first law school, that's a commonwealth. So you have certain states that are commonwealth states. So they have different law in commonwealths. What are your commonwealths? Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Virginia. I'm missing one.
Kentucky.
Kentucky. And then of course you got Louisiana, which is Napoleonic Code, which is on something totally different too.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. So you might have those nuances in your Commonwealth law, but you still have what's called the common law. So all the other states are common law. Georgia's common law. All the other states, you got your 4 commonwealths, which because they have remnants back to our original day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what have I been doing with my life, James?
Oh man, but you've been
what have I been doing with my life, man?
Quite a lot, obviously.
No, man, I can't even get all your career in this one sitting. You got to obviously come back. When are we going to come back and maybe do a panel of attorneys and maybe some, one of my friends told me, George Oliver. Okay. George Oliver said, there's no such thing as at-risk youth. All youth are at risk, and I love that.
Absolutely.
We need to bring some kids in, some teenagers in, and really so they can see the other side of things. And maybe when I expand the doc here, we'll sit out here and talk to some kids. Bring yourself in. I would love to go over more vision expansion.
Of course.
Dedication.
And one of the things that I would say is, you can't accomplish anything, but sometimes we are our own worst enemy. For me, I had to learn there is a season and a reason. There's a season for everything. It's like your crops. You have to fertilize them. You have to put that time. This is that season. Sometimes your seasons can't mix. So sometimes, you have to have your focus on that one thing that is going to sustain you and take care of you. So I've focused so much now into my law, but I've been blessed to where the law and the entertainment overlaps, like when I produce projects or do contracts or work things behind the scene. I'd love to get back to that point at some point in time in the future where I get to see more on the other side, but I realize there is a season and there is that reason at that point in time. So don't spread yourself too thin.
That's right.
That you're not able to make an impact in the areas of life that are most important. So I think that's something to really note. And, I tell all my people, man, all my brothers, each one, teach one. Maybe we can reach one. Maybe we can get all the brothers up off the street, son.
Well, let me tell you, man, I was proud of James Lattimore, but I'm honored to know Theda Salazar, man.
Hey, man.
I really am, man.
All love,
I'm proud of you, man.
Man.
I really am.
I'm proud of you. Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, no question, man. It's a great day to change lives. I will put his information in all the captions and all the lower thirds and all of the comments as well. Make sure you follow Theta Salazar 3.
I am Salazar 3 on social media.
I am Salazar 3 on social media.
Yeah, also salazarlawgroup.com. You know, we are, if you have any issues with anything, we don't have any issues trying to help anybody that we can, and we don't charge for any consultations.
Nice, nice, man. Hey, it's a great day to change lives. Remember, your story belongs to you, but your message belongs to the world. We all have trials and tribulations. It's time to turn those things into celebrations. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
James, I can't get it all in, man.
Oh, man, please.
I can't get it all in. We got to get a quick picture real quick, and I'm going to send you some clips and stuff so we can get your business, so we can get your law firm out there, the website.
So that was all right?
Yeah, man, great. Yeah.
Okay.
All I got to do is let you rip. Pull the rip cord. Daddy always been like that. Just let him rip. Yep. Dad, you got 2 attorneys. How many kids?
3.
3 total? Got 2 attorneys at least.
2, yeah.
You ain't got to worry about much. That's too cool. Oh, now look. Now it won't act right.
I know.
That guy got hot.
Yeah.
He got hot. I'm gonna tell you to get the umbrella.
I got a big one in my car.
But it looked beautiful though.
It look good?
Oh.
Yeah, that's good. Did the Ducks make a cameo? Did they make a quick cameo?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Several times.
But yeah, I meant to tell you. So he's in the shade now?
Yeah, he's in the shade.
Okay. And you cut him off. Make sure he powered up.
Out, but I'm gonna power it off.
That's what'll cool him down. All right.
There we go.
We'll do one sitting. Oh yeah, you got a vertical. Mm-hmm. We'll do one sitting back like we normal conversation. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
All right.
Now
we got to bring you back, man.
Let me just do one with a flow real quick.
Oh yeah, come on, yeah. Forgot about the freestyle. We still rolling. We still mic'd up. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, this will be a great outtake. So Theta, you got to give us some. You said you know how you were a poet as well in your
Absolutely.
title. Give me something.
All right. Let's see. All right, they're trying to break our concentration, but just stay focused. I know I've told you like my brothers on the side, but never revoke us. And if you want to come through the site, hold on, stop.
All right, we'll do outtake. Don't worry about it. I can edit that out. I know you got about 15 of them.
Nah. Let me break it down for your soul, and I'm gonna break it down for your conscious, and I'm gonna take my time for precision in case I come off slightly obnoxious. See, we got to concentrate on our goals, and we got to stay focused, because the enemy's trying to pull the wool over our eyes. They trying to yoke us and treat us like the driver's license, a DUI, and revoke us and shoot, stab, suffocate, drown, and even choke us. Red rum, they prefer us dead and dumb. Add or multiply, but don't let them subtract from the sum, because see, they don't care where you're from, and they don't care what you've done. Step up wrong, put on your track shoes, and just prepare to run. Just shoot knowledge quicker than bullets get shot out of a gun. See, we're the child of the stars, father of the moon and sun, and other constellations like Indians on reservations. We do this for the love and the crowd participation. If they want to relax, they just take a vacation. But you attack a track and wake it up in time for tribulation.
Yeah. I like it. You never know when it's going to end, but I love it. That's why you got to pay attention all the way through. My good, man. Theta's in the building. Salazar, I appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate you,
Come back as soon as you can.
Indeed.
You say you stay in 3 places now. Miami, Atlanta, LA.
Yeah.
How, just kind of based on where the work takes you?
Really, I mean, I'm working in LA.
Okay, guys.
That's probably, and
that's
of course,
primary.
Outside of, cases I might have, got one in Texas. Had just settled a case in Maryland.
Yeah.
Great work with brother Wendell Gordon, good attorney out there.
Give me your favorite GIG experience real quick.
My favorite GIG experience.
Shout out to my man, GIG. Your favorite GIG memory.
My favorite, so Gig Preston Elliott, brother. Man, my favorite one is, I have so many.
I got a million of them.
I would just say my favorite one is when we were at school, and there was this dude. He didn't even know this dude. He was, this dude was fighting somebody, but Gig walked up to the dude and was like, who you think you about to fight? And I'm like, man, Gig, you don't know this dude, you know this dude? And he's like, nah, man, that's not right. I said, if he's gonna fight somebody, he should at least fight somebody his own size. Like me.
That's what Gig said to me.
Yeah, he said like me. And he said, but if you're gonna be out here trying to mess with somebody else, you at least need to be fair.
Right. That's how he was, man.
Man.
That's how he was.
I was like, man, dude, watch him do that. He didn't even know that kid is like, and maybe he just had something against the dude. I don't know, but he was like, he took it. But he did that with other people too, like often.
All the time.
Often.
Yeah.
Like he made it his business to make sure that if something was going down, it was going to be fair.
Right.
And it didn't matter what it was in life, and that's whether it was business or whether it was, a relationship, he just wanted people to be fair to one another and to show love.
Yeah, man.
And that's why losing him was such a big loss to me, just because, this,
way too soon, man.
Way too soon, man.
But I told people at the funeral, you heard me. The best way for Gig's legacy to continue,
that's true.
We got to take 2 young men, give them at least 2 minutes a day for the next 22 weeks, and let's see where they end up in 22 years, because he passed on 2/22/22.
That's right.
And that's how his spirit would never die.
And speaking of which, now that you bring that up, there's a good brother, Stephen Lee, runs UNC, Unity Networking Counseling Center.
Okay.
And he's been putting in work for about a quarter century.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, putting with the youth, mentoring young men of color, providing them opportunities, and may I give him a plug?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
And actually, Brother Lee is running for, I believe, District 40 for state representative. Okay. So I did mention you to him. Actually, I saw him yesterday. I mentioned, and I told him, about what we had, and I said, if nothing else, he's a good brother that, because he's active in the community. His office is usually it's on that Donald Lee Hollowell corridor.
Okay, for sure.
So that's where the UNCC building is. So they usually mentor more young men from that area, those areas right there off Hollowell, and those low income, those homes over there that single parent, disenfranchised, that's what he is, and he's over there in that community making a difference.
Yeah, so give him a shot. So he's running. So what we need to do? You're talking about for him to? He's running for?
Yeah, he's running for state representative for 40th district.
And his name again?
Stephen Lee.
Stephen Lee.
Absolutely. So
and by when do we need to, because this will air, what's our deadline?
Oh, this is going to be in the upcoming election. So they're just. But if you ride through Southwest Atlanta, ride through Adamsville, you ride down MLK over into Northwest Atlanta on that side, you see his street signs out. You'll see. So when you see him, he's out there campaigning, he's knocking on doors, and he's a real good brother too. He's had his feet on the ground in the community, and you have young families that might have, not stay in that community, but they've heard about Brother Lee, and they've actually taken their kids over to UNCC.
Nice.
Because they do such an amazing job, and it's just like, it's there in the community, and there are not too many individuals that are pouring back into our community like that. So when you get one, you really have to nurture them, because I don't want to be around one day and say, oh man, I sure wish we had somebody to help out with all these kids that need somebody, just to have them a good positive word or a positive message. Oh, well, UNCC used to be down the street, so I don't ever want to hear that.
Right,
so
right.
I always try to, absolutely, I always try to work with them.
Connect us for sure. Connect us for sure. We'll all get together and do the ultimate collab.
Okay, yeah man.
Let's do it. I appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate you.
Yeah.